Persuasion Secrets of the World's Most Charismatic and Influential Villains by Ben Settle is this week's Book of the Week. I'm going to get into it after this. Hey everybody, welcome to ProfitCopilot.com. My name is MICK, MEANEY, and this is all about helping you to get better results online. And this week's Book of the Week is called Persuasion Secrets of the World's Most Charismatic and Influential Villains, and that's by Ben Settle. So, disclaimer right up front, there's absolutely no affiliate links anywhere involved in this. I'm not receiving any form of payment, there's no sponsorship, anything like that. If you're new to Profit Copilot, you got to know that I don't work like that. I don't accept payment, and there's no way anyone can buy the way onto the channel. I absolutely only review books and products and give you information that I know will be of massive benefit to you. And I do that so you get the benefit and not my bank account. Okay, so let's get down into this week's book. I'm going to give you an overview of the book. We're going to look at some of the Amazon reviews, which is a bit scary at times, and I've got permission from Ben to read you a portion of the book, and that's going to give you a flavour of what to expect and help you to make up your own mind if it is the right book for you. Now, this was the very first time I've downloaded a book via Kindle, so it's a fairly new experience for me. If you've seen previous books of the week, you know that I like to have the hard copy, a physical copy, because I love the feel of books. But I didn't want to wait for delivery with this one because the copy was so persuasive, it just pulled me in and I had to get it and download it there and then. So it's the first time I've used Kindle, and I think I'm going to become a convert. Of course, this book is probably a really good starting point because there's around 120 pages. There's nice clear font. I think the font size is around 18, so it can be read in like one sitting. When I started, I was absolutely glued to the page. I kept turning page after page. I was so absorbed by it, and by chapter 6, which is around 50% of the way through the book, I knew that I had to share it with you. It's that good. And what it really did for me was reaffirm that what I'm doing in my life and in my business is the right path. It has reaffirmed that I'm on the right track, and the little thoughts and worries and concerns that I have are perfectly normal, and I'm going about my business in the right way. So for me, I found that very rewarding. It's motivational. I found it to have a very powerful message, and it's really for people who want to build an audience and make more money. But the interesting thing is, I really want my son to read it too. You know, of course, he's 17. He's not that interested in books at the moment. That might change. But I think this is going to be of huge benefit to him, to help him cope with life. And it's going to give him some very useful tools that will help him deal with people and get more of what he wants. This book is a little bit controversial. Okay, so if you're a third wave feminist, then you might be offended. Also, if you're a social justice warrior, then you're probably going to get off on this because it's going to give you a lot to complain about. But it gives normal people the permission to get in touch with their inner arsehole, and that's a really positive thing. And that's not to hurt or abuse or treat anyone like shit. It's about putting yourself first, taking care of you and your business first. I mean, this speaks directly to the id. It's kind of primal. The copy in the book is very smart. I mean, the book itself could be used as part of your swipe file. It's got loops, nested loops, embedded commands. I think maybe I've even spotted a couple of Barnum statements, and it's 100% on your side. And there's lots of practical advice in there. So a big cornerstone of the book, which I'm going to get into in a second, is about your mission. There's also other really useful advice, like keeping a year's salary as a screw you fund. So this is really difficult to achieve, but it shows you how to do it by taking 10% of what you earn and putting that aside and building up a year's worth of salary. Now, I have actually done this in my own life, and I know the benefits of that. It changes how you act. It changes how you view yourself. When you have this deposit of money that you don't need to tap into, and it's just there for a rainy day, you become more selective about the types of tasks and people and projects and opportunities that you get involved with, because you know that you don't need them. It makes you a stronger person. It makes you more attractive because you don't need anybody. You don't need anyone's time or money. You have everything you need. And the book also looks at, speaking of time, it shows you how to reclaim your time, specifically how to take it away from time vampires, which is a very interesting concept. It shows you the different types of people who will suck away at your time and give you nothing in return. So let's have a look at Amazon and you can decide for yourself if this is right for you. So here is the sales page: Persuasion Secrets of the World's Most Charismatic and Influential Villains by Ben Settle. So if you're interested in having the kind of money, fame, respect, power, influence, privilege, peace of mind, women, and knowledge routinely denied to other men, this short book will show you how. But first, a word of warning. So there it says it's going against the SJWs and the feminists. I would like to clarify, I think Ben Settle means the third wave feminists. You know, the ones that want supremacy, not equality. So let's go down and let's have a look at the reviews. So there we are: 5-star, 4-star, 5-star, 5. There's 104 reviews. Lots to go through. Let's have a look at the 1-star reviews. Okay, so because you want to know the best and the worst of this. Okay, so here we are. Very chauvinistic. I was able to ignore it. Page 30. Disappointed I voted for this book with my dollars. Also, it's only 100 pages and the print is huge. It's more of a big pamphlet than it is a book. I'd like to address that because it's not chauvinistic. If you think that not only men but women should stand up for themselves, set their own standards and limits, and stick to it, if you think that's chauvinistic, then you're living on a different planet. A totally misleading title, one of the most boring, useless books I've ever read. It's got persuasion in the title. This is not a book about persuasion in the traditional sense. This, when you employ the techniques and the lessons that it teaches, you will become more persuasive. You will become more influential as a byproduct of the lessons, of implementing the lessons in this book. It doesn't give you persuasive statements to use. It's a bit bigger than that. So I can understand why there might be a little bit of confusion amongst some people, a minority, about the title. But as you can see, most of the 104 people who have purchased this book, verified purchase, have give it 4 or 5 stars. So that's the reality of the situation. That's what the current reviews look like. Now let me show you the table of contents. So here we are. Let's start with chapter 1. A villain without a mission is like a man without testicles. You can see how some people might be offended by the language, but who cares? The lessons speak for themselves. This stands on its own. So chapter 2, annihilate your neediness. Chapter 3, selfishly pay yourself first. And this I found really interesting in chapter 3 when it talks about putting away 10% of your earnings before anyone else gets it, before you pay your bills, before you give it to the IRS. And it's not encouraging you to not pay your tax or anything like that. It's just saying pay yourself first. Give that 10% to you. And then chapter 4, secure your screw you fund. That's how you build up a year's salary. And you just put it somewhere, keep it somewhere safe. And that is really to allow you to change how you behave, how you interact with people, how you view yourself. What this book does, it really cuts to your self-image. It allows you to change your self-image. And we know that when we use persuasive copy to influence and allow someone to temporarily change their self-image, transformation happens because they have that belief. And that belief propels the action, and the action they take gets the results. So this all goes back to changing your self-image. It's incredibly powerful. So, chapter 5, ruthlessly knock people off their pedestals. That's not as brutal as it sounds. Execute your inner nice guy with extreme prejudice. This is awesome stuff. Okay, stake and behead the time vampires. Villains never lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. Chapter 9, patience, a supervillain's deadliest weapon. And then chapter 10, be the Joker. I think one of the reasons why I was so drawn to this is because of my love of the Batman comics, and in particular the Joker. And I think this speaks right on my wavelength. I can't say enough good things about it. So let's have a look at the book. So let's go to chapter 1. A villain without a mission is like a man without testicles. Now, because you've already seen Prophet Copilot stuff before, you know that I am relentlessly talking about finding your passion, using that as your mission to achieve results. Because once you have that, you can wear it like armor, and it allows you to achieve such amazing things. And this talks about that very concept, but in a really smart way. So, it starts with a little story. Back in the early days of my business career, I knew the most socially awkward man you could ever imagine. For example, he was needy and clingy with everyone. He was depressing to talk to and a vicious, passive-aggressive gossiper. He would sweat, turn red and go mute just being in a girl's presence. He looked like his mom still dressed him. Guys openly mocked him. He had zero friends, and worst of all, his personality was so repugnant he couldn't keep a job for more than a few months before he was fired. He was a pitiful wretch of a man, and he was so pathetic you couldn't even feel sorry for him. Whenever a guy shoved him out of the way or girls insulted him to his face, you understood. He all but asked to be treated that way. It was painful just watching this guy interact with people. And if anyone looked like the poster child for failure, it was him. Now, fast forward 10 years later, today this man is a multi-millionaire, high-paid speaker, published author, and philanthropist. People practically fight each other just to have the chance to do business with him. He always has a beautiful dame on his arm. He drives $100,000 sports cars, and he lives the kind of lifestyle 99.9% of men will never know. A successful villain through and through. But how did he do it? How did he go from super schlub to super villain? What was his secret? Answer, the guy decided to pursue a mission. A mission, in his case, build a multi-million-dollar business that transcended himself. He started out near penniless, poured his heart and soul into it every day, and went after it without apology, pause, or apprehension. The result was a total transformation in his life, financially, emotionally, and professionally. That's the kind of transformation a man with a mission can experience. In fact, when you encounter a villain with a clearly defined mission, you'll instantly know it. You'll see it in his eyes, you'll hear it in his voice, especially when he tells war stories about pursuing his mission. And you'll feel it in the vibe he gives off just being in his presence. There is something about a villain with a mission other people are irresistibly drawn to. A villain on a mission doesn't care what anyone, man or woman, thinks about him. Instead, he cares only for his mission. As a result, women can't help but be attracted to him, regardless of his looks, and will even compete with each other to be his minion. Men, on the other hand, are inspired and intimidated by him. They want to be like him, even if they can never be him, eagerly submit to him and stand in line just to become one of his lowly henchmen. A mission gives a villain charisma. Charisma gives a villain power and influence. And power and influence gives a villain the world. But it all starts with your mission. So, that's a look at the first chapter. It's incredibly powerful stuff. That should just hook you in. And just like I keep saying in my videos, in order to succeed, you need that passion. So, what about the bad points? Well, the biggest drawback of reading this for me anyway, was that when I reached the end of it, I wanted more. There was not enough of it. And I hope Ben Settle writes a sequel or does something to produce more of this kind of content, because it is pure gold. You know that feeling when you've watched a series on Netflix, maybe you've binge watched and you got to the end of it and you want more? It's the same feeling. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, I don't think. But another bad point, maybe, I have spotted 1 or 2 grammatical errors, I think. I'm not the best in the world when it comes to spelling and grammar. If you've read my emails, you already know that. But I think I may have spotted a couple of mistakes in there. However, it does teach you to become not only a villain, but a super villain. And it gets your blood pumping. When I finished reading this, and it didn't take long to read, I was ready to kick some serious ass. I was ready to take on the world. And it really gave me the motivation and encouragement that I needed, because sometimes we all feel like we're on the wrong track. We could be doing things better. This just reaffirmed everything for me. It's okay. What I'm doing right now is okay. And if you're not happy with where you are right now, this will give you a serious kick up the butt and get you moving forward. So this will give you the tools you need mentally to build an audience on the internet. But what about strategically? Well, today I'm going to give you 4 traffic methods that you've probably not seen before that will help you to build that audience. I'm going to give you those traffic methods for free when you go to profitgopilot.com/traffic. Okay, so that's the book. I'm absolutely blown away by it. I think everyone should read it. It should be mandatory reading for all entrepreneurs. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. If you've liked this, if you found it useful, hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel too. It will be awesome to have you here. I have got so much more content just like this for you. And remember to hit the little notification bell when you subscribe now, because that will notify you when I upload another video, which is going to be tomorrow. So thank you very much for checking this out. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care.